What's good, family? It's your boy Old Soul J, and I'm back with another video. A few years ago, I made a video talking about time is money, and I broke that down pretty clearly. This is really an updated version. It's not really I guess you could say it's a part two, but it's more so an updated version. Recently, I also made a video on my TikTok speaking about how time is an illusion on a higher spectrum, a higher plane of existence, a higher dimension. But when you're in the 3D, time is still relevant, time is still real. So let's talk about time for a second. So in that video, I said time is man-made or is created by the ego for us to be able to perceive movement, right? Change, growth. Because really time is just numbers. We're just counting. We're counting. We give the months a name. We give the days a name. So there's weeks, there's days, there's months, there's hours, there's minutes, and there's seconds. But it's all just numbers counting up. We're just counting. We just have machines counting for us. Literally, clocks are machines. Technology, your phone, machines, that's just counting numbers, Without, what time is it? Without these structures that are man-made that we put in place, like time, the day, the week, the name of the month, really, you would have no real concept of time, right? So you might say, oh, well, I have memory of the past and the future hasn't happened yet. We're in the present moment, right? This is the now. The plane of existence that you're in right now is just a different experience. Time is more non-linear. It's more spread out. This is why the future has different possibilities. Your past, your memories of the past are just the versions of reality that you experienced based on prior decisions or prior actions, movements, right? Let's do this. If you forget about the concept of seconds and time, because you're just counting in the moment, we're only live in the present moment. That already right there tells you that time is illusionary, because the past and the future can only exist in your mind. It can only exist in your mind. You're constantly living the present moment. All that means is that you're shifting to different present moments, and you just have memories of the present moments that you live. It's just that the human mind and the ego needed to simplify that in a way where we use numbers to keep track of things that don't even exist anymore, or don't even exist at all, because the past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist. It's just that we create the future with what we're doing in the past, because of that's why you hear about manifestation and how you can manifest a certain future. You are aligning into a certain possibility, a certain reality that already exists. So everything already exists all at once. You're just experiencing different pieces of reality. That's how time is an illusion, because it only exists while we're having these experiences on this plane. Because the higher up you go, the more you ascend, the more time seems more fickle or just less real. Like, you'll hear people talk about how when they raise their consciousness or their vibration, time speeds up. But what happens when something speeds up so fast? It disappears. If you could perceive time to be going fast or slow, sometimes that's based on what you're doing, like if you're enjoying what you're doing or not. Sometimes that's based on your level of your consciousness, the growth of it. Because time only exists because you believe it exists. It exists on a 3D scale, but once you raise your vibration past the 3D, once you're able to get past that, then time ceases to exist, because then you'll grow past the 3D reality. Your consciousness will be past a third dimensional consciousness. And the higher the dimensions, the less physical it becomes. Time is only really relevant for physical reality. So like I said, if something is speeding up at the speed of light, it disappears. We already know that when something's moving fast enough, you can't see it. It disappears. It doesn't exist. So we got all that down pat. Now think about this. Another reason why we use time, it's a good way to keep track, right? In this dimension, it's a good way for us to keep track of things, especially because we're living a temporary human experience, which meaning that the bodies are not immortal. There's an expiration date on your experience in this dimension, or in this ego form, in this lifetime, right? Because look, this whole reality is an illusion, but the illusion is real to us while we're here. It's meant to be as real as possible, just like any simulation would be. Not saying that we are in a simulation, but we are. But you see, you have to be able to understand that it is possible to be in a simulation, but also have a soul. The soul came into the simulation with the body to also understand that there is a higher power, there is God, what you would call God, the label God, that created your soul, that is also a higher version of you, right? But because time is real here and your time is limited, I like to think about it as currency, because you can't get time back and you don't know how much you have. That's the biggest difference. Money, you could be broke one day, which I don't like that word. You could have low finances one day and a few months later be a millionaire. That's possible. Now, you can't get your like time back, right? In this dimension, right? When it goes, it goes. So let's say you are supposed to live for 80 years. Every second is a step closer to those 80 years. Every second, step closer. So then, you know, seconds goes to minutes, minutes goes to hours, hours goes to days, days goes to weeks, months, years. 80 years. So you break that down to seconds, it's still money. Every second is money. So this is how you have to think about time as money. You only spend money on things that are a necessity or you see value in. And a necessity basically means that it already has value. So it has to bring you enough value. I speak so much about cost versus value, which is one of the videos on this channel. Time is money is also it serves almost the same purpose that cost versus value does. Because your time is money, because you should treat your time like money, this is why cost versus value is a strong principle. So since every second is like spending money, you have to think about, what are you spending your time on? Is it worth you spending your time? You have a limited amount and you cannot get it back. If you were given $10 million, now that's too much for this example. If you were given 500K, but you could not make any more money, and that's you knowing how much you have. You don't even know how much time you have. But that you can't make no more money, right? Let's just say it was impossible to make money. Like, there was no way for you to get any more money. You would be very strategic and very careful about how you spend your money. You would try to make sure that that money lasts you to the end of your life. So every decision that you make with your money will be very critical. You would critically think about it. So time, we should look at time this way. And it depends on what you value, what you believe is important, right? It's different for different people. But you just don't want to do things that waste too much time, that bring you no value at all. And what value is to you really depends on you, right? That depends on what you want and what you believe and how you feel. But you have to be honest with yourself, though. A lot of times we lie to ourselves because we rather not do what we really want, or go for what we really want, or do the right thing, or what we feel we should do, because it's hard. Don't make that excuse. As long as you truly believe what you're doing is what you should be doing, or what you really, really in your heart want to do. Treat time as that money and that currency, because how you spend your time is super vital. Every second is money. It's $1. Every second's $1, right? Think about it like this. Look, let's look up something real quick. So roughly, right, I just did the math. 42 million minutes are in 80 years. 42 million. 42 million minutes. There's people that have more money than that. So if 42 million minutes, let's say every minute was $1, that means you're spending $1, right? Think about it like that. Think about it as your time. Then this is assuming you're living 80 years, but you're already past. So you could do it in a sense of how much years you got left. You could do the math on that. I mean, that might be a little extreme. Call me an extremist, but it puts things into perspective for you. If I have 42 million minutes in 80 years, every minute I'm getting closer to those 80 years. Things add up. It is important to not drift through life, so you understand what you're spending your time on, and, you know, not letting life pass you by until next thing you know, you got a couple years left. But that's the tricky part about it. What makes this so urgently important is you really don't know how much time you have left. 42 million minutes, 80 years is being generous. It's being generous. Stop holding yourself back when you have to die one day. We're here for a short period of time. It's a small period of time. Do something with it. Whatever your heart's desire. Because your heart's desire, use that as a navigator. Use your logic or your mind to be strategic about how you're going to get there. But your heart should already tell you where you want to go. And you have only a certain amount of time to spend doing that. That's all I got to say for today, y'all. Make sure you like and subscribe. I love y'all.